Strolling through the halls of Needham High School, one could easily experience a sense of deja vu. That's because the freshman class boasts 25 sets of twins. That's enough to have classmates seeing double and to make national headlines.
Principal called the situation very unusual, but really, it's all relative. The dad joke, right?
Dad jokes aside, being a twin does have its advantages.
Sometimes we'll trick people into thinking one's another.
I like always having someone to talk to.
It's kind of fun to tell people I'm a twin. It's like a fun fact.
Though it's not all sunshine and roses.
When I'm bored, I can just annoy the hell out of him. It's the other way around.
I used to cry every year on my birthday because I didn't want to share it with him.
Fraternal or identical, twins are known for having a deep connection. So we decided to test how well do these twins really know each other. From favorite colors?
Green. Yeah.
His favorite color is red. Yeah.
To which is mom's favorite?
I'd say me. I don't think so, but
Say me.
Yeah, probably.
I'm the dog's favorite out of the two of us.
These twins seem pretty in sync, but can they read each other's minds? Pick a number between 1 and 10.
8.
I think of 7.
4.
Yeah.
7.
It was actually 7. I'm not even kidding. It was 7. I'm not even kidding. It's 7.
Not bad. But even with their twin tuition, this innocent-looking picture had our twins stumped. So what is this?
Some Celtics banners and the American flag over it.
I'm not entirely sure where that is, but I recognize the banners.
Wait, what's it called? TD Garden?
Yes, these are official Celtics championship banners. But no, this picture was not taken at TD Garden. Seeing double?
The ones in the TD Garden are actually replicas because some of the old original banners are kind of threadbare and kind of wearing out a little bit.
In fact, 16 of the 18 Celtics championship banners hanging in TD Garden are not originals. Information that comes from an impeccable source. Meet Jeff Twiss.
You're the last employee of the Celtics originally hired by Red, is that right? Tell me that story.
The last man standing, yes.
Twiss was hired in 1981, a banner year, and since then the Celtics have a new arena, a new practice facility, and many new replica banners. But where are the originals?
Well, if we go back in history and back at the old Boston Garden, they used to be hanging up there quite regularly, and there's poor ventilation. People used to smoke regularly.
Over time, the original banners were much the worse for wear.
They were stained, too.
Part of the Celtics mystique.
That mystique would grow in the mid-1990s when one of the banners disappeared altogether.
It was in some gentleman's house in Melrose, and he returned it, and no question asked, as long as it got back in safe and sound.
Since 1995, the original Celtics banners have been largely held in storage.
4 or 5 years ago, we proudly hung them in their corridor and in the Great Library, and we'd had them on display there for about 3 or 4 months, and now they're back in storage.
In storage until today, when the Celtics pulled out their original 1968 banner to give us an exclusive look.
It's pretty neat because this is the first banner, first title under head coach Bill Russell, first African-American coach to coach a major sport in the United States.
NBA championships are won with blood, sweat, and tears, and to see this banner, stains and all, in its original form, does harken back to a different time in professional sports.
In living history, their heart and soul went into that championship, and their reward, if you want to put it that way, is that banner going.
So to preserve that is important for history and for them.
It's priceless.
That's great. And one thing all of those Celtics banners have in common, since 1957, they've been hand-sewn at the New England Flag and Banner Company in Woburn.
And that company now makes banners for most of the NBA, and each one of the banners has a little secret, which is not going to be a secret anymore. There's a lucky penny sewn into the hem of each banner. Yeah, secret is out.